Chemistry and you are watching Chem Science.
In the third part of atomic structure video, we are going to learn what are energy levels and what are energy shells, rules for the arrangement of electrons around the nucleus in an atom, and then we will learn electronic structure, that's electronic configurations for the first 20 elements of the periodic table. So now let's start with the rules for the electron arrangement. Now as we know that in atoms have same number of electrons as protons. And what are protons? That's denoted by the atomic number given for an element in the periodic table. So the atomic number will also give us the number of protons present in an atom. So where are these electrons present? We have already seen that protons and neutrons are present inside the nucleus and electrons are arranged around the nucleus, as we can see here. So electrons are found in the shells or energy levels around the nucleus. So you can call these orbits, which actually called as energy levels or shells, electron shells around the nucleus in which the electrons are found. So these orbits around the nucleus are called energy levels or energy shells. Now electrons are put into the lowest energy level first. Now what are the lowest energy levels? The first shell, which is closest to the nucleus, is having the lowest energy. So you can say that this is the first shell, and so this first shell, which is closest to the nucleus, is having the lowest energy. And in this shell the electrons will be filled first, and then the shell, when fully filled, will be filled up in the next energy shell, and in this way the electrons will be filled up in the shells further away from the nucleus after the inner shells are fully filled. So we will understand this with the help of many more examples in the next part of this video. So we can also say that for the shell which is away from the nucleus, that is got the highest energy. So they are having the higher energy levels which are farther from the nucleus. So in short, we can say that the new shell which is closer to the nucleus, that is the first shell, and that's filled first. Then we will go to the second shell which is further away from the nucleus, and then keep on going away from the nucleus. The shells have the higher energy. But then now, how to know that how many electrons can be filled in what shells? So there is a rule for filling up an electron in a particular shell, and that's 2n square, where n is the number of shell we are looking for. Now for example, if we are talking about the first shell, then n is going to be the 1. So here if n is equal to 1, then substitute n with 1. So 2n square is going to end up with number 2. So what does this mean? This means that the first shell can have a maximum of 2 electrons only. The third electron cannot be filled in the first shell, and so the third electron will go to the second shell. But then again, how many electrons can be filled up in the second shell? Again, use the same formula now. N is equal to 2 because here it's a second shell. So substituting 2 in the 2n square formula, we get 2 square. So we get 8 electrons. So in the second shell, we can fill up the maximum of 8 electrons. And similarly, we can find out the number of electrons which can be filled up in the third shell also, and that ends up with the 18 electrons. So maximum of 18 electrons can be filled up in the third shell, and so on can be calculated. So here you note down the first shell can have at most 2 electrons, the second shell can have 8 electrons, and the third shell can have maximum of 18 electrons. Now let's understand the electronic structure, that is electronic configuration or electronic arrangement of the first 20 elements, and let's start with the hydrogen first. Now hydrogen have just one proton and one electron, and so this electron will go in the first shell itself. So hydrogen have just one shell with one electron. Now next, helium have two electrons in its atom. So both these electrons will go in the first shell itself, which is close to the nucleus, and because the first shell can accommodate two electrons, so both the electrons of helium will go in the first shell. Now let's start with the lithium. Lithium have three electrons in its atom. So these three electrons, out of three, two can go in the first shell. Now what about the third electron? Third electron cannot be accommodated in the first shell. So the remaining one electron will go in the second shell. So this is how the electronic structure of hydrogen and helium will vary from the lithium. Why? Because lithium have two energy levels or two shells, but hydrogen and helium just have one shell. Similarly, if we try for the next element, beryllium. Beryllium have four electrons. So out of four, two electrons will go in the first shell and the next two electrons in the next shell. Same for the boron also. Here boron have five electrons. So two electrons will go in the first shell and the remaining three electrons will go in the second shell. Now go with the next, that is carbon. Carbon have six electrons. So out of six electrons, the two will go in the first shell and the remaining four will go in the second shell. And here goes nitrogen. Nitrogen now have how many electrons? It's having 7 electrons. So 7 electrons, 2 goes in the first shell and 5 goes in the next shell. Now comes oxygen. Oxygen have 8 electrons in its atom, and so 2 electrons in the first shell and 6 electrons in the next shell. Next comes fluorine. Fluorine has 9 electrons, and so 9 electrons have 2 goes in the first shell and 7 goes in the next shell. Similarly, the last element of this period, that is neon. Neon have 10 electrons. So same electronic structure where 2 goes in the first shell and 8 goes in the second shell. By now, one more thing can be observed is that here is the first period, that is hydrogen and helium are present in the first period, and we can observe that both hydrogen and helium just have one shell in its structure. Now here is the second period with 8 elements in sequence, and all these 8 elements from lithium to neon, all of them have 2 shells. We can observe that the first shell is fully filled with 2 electrons and the second shell have increasing number of electrons from 1 to 8 here in the neon. But then all the elements have 2 shells in their structure. Now what does this mean? This means that the period number of any element that indicates the number of shell. That shows that if an element is in period 1, it's going to have just one shell. If it is in period 2, then it's going to have 2 shells. So in that case, if you talk about the third period here, then the elements of the third period should have 3 shells filled with some electrons in its electronic structure. Now one should also note down that we can go to the next shell only when the inner shells are fully filled. So if we are going to the second shell, electrons are being filled in the second shell, the first shell should be fully filled with whatever number maximum is allowed in that shell. So if one shell have 2 electrons, then the second shell can be filled only when the first shell is fully filled with the 2 electrons. Now if we are going to the third shell, we are filling electrons in the third shell, and the second shell can have 8 electrons maximum. So first shell and second shell should be fully filled with their number of electrons, and then only the third shell can be filled up. So now let's start with the third shell elements. First one is sodium, and sodium have the electronic structure of 11. Now let's see what's the electronic structure of sodium. Here, out of 11, 2 will go in the first shell. Now we are left with 9 electrons, but out of 9, only 8 can be filled in the second shell. So 1 is still remaining. That 1 electron will go in the third shell. Now as we have observed that the elements of the third period will have 3 shells, that's what is being done here. There are 3 shells in the element sodium of the third period. And then same thing implies to the next elements also, but let's see the electronic structure in the diagrammatic form of each and every element also. Let's start with the hydrogen first. Hydrogen has 1 electron, and we have already seen that it has 1 electron in its first shell. So diagrammatically, the shell which is closer to the nucleus will have 1 electron. So this is how the electrons are filled in the hydrogen. What about helium? Helium have 2 electrons. So there are 2 electrons in the first shell of helium, and so diagrammatically we can draw a shell closer to the nucleus with 2 electrons. Next, lithium have 3 electrons, and we know that its electronic structure is 2 and 1. So it has first shell filled with 2 electrons, and the 1 electron goes in the second shell. Let's start with the second period elements once again. So lithium have 3 electrons with 2 electrons in the first shell and 1 electron in the second shell. Beryllium have 4 electrons. So again, as we know, the electronic structure is 2 and 2, and so its diagrammatic structure have 2 in the first shell and then 2 electrons in the second shells. That is 1 more electron compared to lithium in the second shell. Same as beryllium to the boron, where 3 electrons in the second shell. Carbon have 1 more electron in the second shell compared to boron, that is 4 electrons in its second shell, that is outermost shell. And then here are the next 4 elements: nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon, and we can see that neon has 8 electrons in its second shell, and so now second shell is also full. So next comes the third period element sodium with the electronic structure 281. So it has 2 electrons in the first shell, 8 electrons in the second shell, and then the third shell with 1 electron. And after sodium, there are 7 more elements in the third period where electrons will be filled up in the third shell, where 1 more electron will be added every time. So argon will have 2, 8 and 8 electronic structure, where the third shell will be also filled up with 8 electrons. Now what about potassium? Now potassium is a fourth period element. So according to the rule, then potassium should have 4 shells. But then there is a question that the third shell can have maximum of 8 electrons. So now till argon, we had seen that the third shell have the electronic structure with 2, 8 and 8. So more electrons can be filled up in the third shell. So potassium's next electron, that is the 9th electron, should be filled up in the third shell itself. But that's not happening. The remaining 1 electron goes in the 4th shell, and that is why the potassium is kept in the 4th period. So here the electronic arrangement is 2, 8, 8 and 1. Now the question is why? The thing is that the number 2 and 8, this gives the stability to the shell. Now if the outer shell is stable with either 2 electrons or 8 electrons, then the atom gains the stability. That's the reason that when the potassium has 8 electrons in the third shell, if we fill up 1 more electron here in the third shell, then potassium have outermost third electron unstable with 9 electrons, which is a big number. So rather what is done is that there are 3 shells which are kept with almost fully filled, and the 1 electron goes to the 4th shell. So only 4th shell is unstable with 1 electron, and that is the reason that the electronic structure of potassium is 2, 8, 8 and 1, and potassium is kept in the 4th period of the periodic table. And so potassium have 4th shell with 1 electron, and so its electronic structure is 2, 8, 8, 1. So the same rule applies to the calcium also, 2, 8, 8 and 2. And so its diagrammatic presentation will be 3 shells with 2, 8 and 8 electronic structure, and the 4th shell with 2 atoms. And at IGCSE level or 10th level, you're supposed to learn the electronic structure of the first 20 elements itself. So this is how it's done. But just for your knowledge, let's share the electronic structure of the next element also, scandium, which is having the atomic number 21. Now what about this? The outer shell is having 2 electrons, and as I said, number 2 electrons gives stability to the atom. So now the 4th shell is also stable. So what is done in the scandium is 2, 8, 9 and 2, means what? The last electron, 21st electron, is then again filled up in the 3rd shell, and this will continue till the 3rd shell gets fully filled with 18. And now these elements from the electronic structure of 2, 8, 9, 2 to 2, 8, 18, 2, these elements, the last one is zinc. All these elements are transition elements, that is the inner block, the middle block of the periodic table, and that's why this block is kept in a little separate when you can make out the electronic structure from the periodic table also. But you don't need to remember all the electronic structure of the transition elements. You just need to understand and remember the electronic structure of first 20 elements only. So here is the summary of electronic structure of first 20 elements. Altogether, you can always pause the video and note down all this electronic structure, and want to understand it in detail, again you can rewind, go back in the video and note down everything. If it's the electronic structure, write it this way, or if you're supposed to draw the electronic structure, then we have discussed the diagrammatic structure also.